Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jag from Jag's Watches, and I usually say this is a channel that doesn't take itself too seriously. However, there is something that I want to get off my chest, something that I've noticed in my comments on social media, on TikTok and Instagram and on YouTube as more and more people see my content, and I wanted to address it as soon as possible really, so that it's a weight off my chest. So I see it all the time, comments in my videos, messages on Instagram. I wish I had that watch. One day I'll finally own my dream piece, and trust me, I get it, I've been there. And I want to say off the bat that this isn't a message for everybody. A lot of people will already know what I'm talking about, but it's for those that maybe have not realized this yet. If I could go back and tell myself one thing before I started collecting watches, it would be this. And this is the one secret that I'm talking about. And it is that it's not that deep. Your dream watch won't fix anything. I'll say that again, your dream watch won't fix anything. The biggest myth in watch collecting is that once you get the one, everything will feel different. Owning that Rolex, Patek, whatever grail you're chasing after will bring you a massive sense of fulfillment. And it's weird because with watches, there is an element of that, but it doesn't last forever because life just goes on. The high fades and you get brought back to reality and you start looking for the next one. It's like a vicious cycle. And the truth is, it's not the watch that matters, it's what the watch represents. And so as I mentioned, the comments in Instagram, TikTok, I wish I had this watch, I wish I had your watch. And I recently uploaded a video about my watch collection, and I just want to say that me sharing my watch collection wasn't me showing off. And I think it's so dangerous in today's world of social media. You're often comparing what other people have to what you have. And I would say straight off the bat is don't do that. Focus on what you have, be grateful for what you have in this very moment, and approach life through the lens of gratitude as opposed to, I wish I had that and I wish I had this, because as I said, you'll just be a lot happier if you do that. So going back to my point that it's not that deep, I've realized that my favorite watches aren't my most expensive or the most hyped. I talked about a moon swatch that my wife bought me in Venice and that being very important to me. It's the stories, it's the memories, it's what the watch means to you. It's not the actual object itself. And that's why I think watch collecting should be in its own category. When you talk about designer goods, trainers, jackets, all things that will perish with time, I feel like watches deserve its own category because they're made to last. And there's something that hopefully you can pass down from generation to generation if you look after them. So when people ask me what watch they should get, I always say don't chase the hype, chase the meaning. And that will mean different things for different people. For me, a watch should be a bookmark in your story and not just a flex on your wrist. And I know, as I've mentioned, social media makes it worse. We see endless collections and crazy collections where we're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds that I could never even dream of ever having. But I know in my mind that it doesn't matter. I could have a Lange und Söhne striking time. I could have a Patek tomorrow. And owning my Grail watch, for example, the No Time to Die, yes, it's amazing that I have the watch, but it's the way the watch was given to me. It's what the watch represents. My wedding, my loved ones bought it for me. And so it's important to recognize what actually is important, and that it's not actually the watch, it's what the watch represents. It goes to my point, one of my final points, that the happiest collectors I know are the ones that collect with intention, that don't follow hype, buy things that actually mean something to them. And often that means a proper collector usually does crazy amounts of research, watches 3,000 reviews of a certain watch before committing to buying that watch, because watches are expensive. They don't have to be expensive, but I'm talking about certain brands which I've mentioned on the channel before. If you're expending a lot of money, and to me thousands of pounds is a lot of money, to many people it's not, but to me it is. You need to make sure you're buying it for the right reason and you will appreciate it for the right reasons. So my final thoughts is, if you are obsessing over getting the one, just take a step back, bring yourself to reality and assess why you want it in the first place. Is it because it represents your journey? If it does, then amazing. But if it's to fill a void or to just flex online and make other people jealous or make yourself feel better, feed your ego, just know that that high will last maybe a couple of weeks, even a couple of months. But eventually, if it is because of those reasons, you'll be brought back to that level where you're back in reality, essentially. As I said, collect what makes you happy, collect stories, not just the watches. And I said from the beginning that this message isn't for everyone, but I feel like as a content creator, the more people that tend to watch my content, I am, in a sense, responsible for how people take my content. As I mentioned, sharing my collection with you wasn't to make anyone jealous or to show off. It was just to share my passion for watches and share the stories attached to them. And often when I meet other watch collectors, that is what you want to share, is the stories, not exactly the watches. It doesn't matter how much it costs. All that matters is what it means to you. If this message in this video resonates with you, make sure you drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. Do you agree with me or do you not agree with me? I would love to know. What's a watch in your collection that actually means something to you? Give me anything, any story, your favorite watch and why it's your favorite watch. You'll start to recognize that it's not because of the actual watch, it's because of what the watch represents to you. And I'd love to hear your stories. As always, thanks for watching. I hope that this is the only serious video I make on the channel. I've been Jag from Jag's Watches, and remember, timing is everything. Peace.